Hey!
Hello, welcome to the now moment.
Yes, my favorite
We're
moment.
in the now. What's happening now is happening now. What
That's my
happened to
favorite.
then? We passed it just then. Spaceballs fans. That's kind of pretty close approximation. How's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Live Stream of Consciousness.
Welcome.
I am your hosts, Jesse Blaze Snyder and Michael Zinn. I am both people. Both people are I. He is I, and I and he.
Wow,
As you've learned,
you're on a roll tonight.
I'm in. I'm ready. Let's go. We're gonna live stream it.
Ninja, what's up, Ninja?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. It's wonderful to be here on the Rams Network. Hello to so many of our regulars like Taylor and Leaping Games and Ninja Kitty. What up, everybody? I'm sure our other friends of ours will be getting here shortly. Oh, I played baseball.
Yeah.
A couple days ago. So awesome. Finally putting my money where my mouth is. It's a big spiritual thing for me because like part of my healing journey now is trying to be more active. So that was like a huge little moment for me.
That's
but
awesome.
What's going on with you, my friend? How has your week been? What's the latest and greatest?
I've had an amazing week. The weather must be nice out there for baseball, right?
Oh yeah, it was great.
I
was in shorts and a t-shirt for
nice. Nice. It's only just starting to get warm here, so. But
it's still like a little chilly, but not bad.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like starting conversations when you're waiting for an answer. It's so I had a great week. I actually had an amazing day today. I don't know if anyone follows any of my social media, but I'm going to actually share this. I have some visual aids here. I went to what they call a cattery
live on YouTube, and
which is somebody who raises cats, and they raise these cats that are called ragdoll cats. I don't know if anybody's heard of these cats, but oh my God, we're doing some of these videos for this woman Claire. She's awesome. But check this out. These cats were like so
what cute cats.
Ridiculous. They were so ridiculous. I was like melting all day long.
What is it about cats that just puts you into the now moment?
You know what? They say cats are divine beings, right? They say that the Egyptians had cat gods, and
we are live on YouTube and Twitch. Join us.
So while Jesse is promoting on other networks for the show, I'm just showing you guys some of the cat photos. And then where is my favorite one? Oh, there it is. There is my favorite little one. This little kitty was inside of a little pen, but she was so cute. Oh my God. So yeah, I had, how could you have a bad day when you're around this vibe all day?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
So that was pretty cool.
I'm into it.
And then the other night, I actually went to a rehearsal studio and jammed with a potential band for the first time in a long time, playing music and playing with some other people. And it was pretty cool. So I had a great week. What about you, my friend? You're in a good mood?
Yeah, life is good. I'm, I can't say much about it. But I'm up for an interesting hosting job, and the casting person is very, very into me,
nice.
And trying to make the job mine. So I'm excited about that, especially because there's a chance it might have me at least working in New York for a little bit, which would be great.
Oh wow, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that, and
such perfect work for you. That's great. I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, and then the other night I had I was meditating and I had this really, I don't know. It's something that I've known, but there was a part of me that was like, it's too simple an explanation. Are you really a schmuck? I'm like, I got this explanation for why how I kind of fell apart when my body started to go wrong, and I always would kind of question myself as to whether or not that was it. And I finally connected to the fact that that was it, and that was everything, and it really just is the key thing. And it all came down to my kids and wanting to play with my kids. And when I woke up and I was in pain, I don't know if most parents can understand, because I see most parents and they're not engaged with their kids in the activities.
Okay, right.
Me and my kids were wrestling on the bed, rolling around on the trampoline,
Yeah.
playing games outside, playing sports outside, doing things all the time. And when I was in pain all of a sudden, just every day of my life, I wasn't up for it. And
Okay.
I started to really like get upset by their sad faces. And I started snapping at them and being really not cool because I wanted to play with them so badly.
Hmm.
And I couldn't do it. And I started looking at my life, and I realized like I had done all this work. I had so much work that I had done that hadn't gone anywhere. Like within comics, like you pitch up a storm,
Right.
and just because it's a great idea doesn't mean you'll ever end up doing anything with it beyond having written that pitch.
Right.
And I'm looking through my computer at all these voiceover auditions I did, and they say like you're successful if you book like 1 out of 15 or 1 out of 20 or whatever it is. And and I used to book like that, but at that time I was doing all these different. I was really overworking myself pretty crazy at that time, and I mean, of course, probably what kicked off my body finally couldn't take anymore. And I had all these auditions that went nowhere, and all these scripts that went nowhere, and I was just like, look at all this energy that I'm putting out into the world that went nowhere, and it's taken me away from my kids. And I saw Patty's father,
Interesting.
who I really adore, Paul Story. You know, uh, he can be a hard guy to like for some under certain circumstances because ultimately Paul's in a lot of pain. He's been really hurt a lot, and he's in a lot of pain physically. His back is jacked up,
Hmm.
and I watched him. You know, just keep overcoming just severe pain and really
Hmm.
not having a lot of sympathy, for it and all these things. But also, it like, he refused to let it take him down, but he was suffering. And I was like, I was 30, I was much younger than he was. And
Right.
I'm like in this same place. And I'm like, I am not ready to commit to Paul's unfortunate journey, which I always saw as like, I can't do this to myself. Like, you got to like make sure you leave enough in the cup for you to survive as well, because
Right.
it's all well and good being the type of father who's really there for your kids, but if it destroys you, what good is it? And and he, I've seen, he's really lived a lot of his life in pain, and it's always killed me because I think ultimately he's a very, very good guy, very giving guy. And I really adore him.
Right.
He's a somebody I admire on a lot of levels. But but that pain and not the just having to live with it, it affects you, and it started to affect me with my kids. And I really like. I seemingly like got lazy for a moment, like for me, like for the people like immediately around me,
Right.
my ex-wife and whatever. And it wasn't really that. I just went, no more of this crap that's not doing anything. It's driven me into the ground,
Hmm.
and I don't have anything to show for it. This is freaking nuts. I'm
Hmm.
like saving as much as I can so I can play with my kids, whatever I can.
Right.
And I'm going to do what I know makes me money and like gets me there or whatever else. But I'm not just running in place like this anymore, because obviously this is a part of me hurting
I was
myself.
dreaming. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, really connecting to that place that, it was so much just for my kids. Like I want to be running and playing with them forever. They're still little.
And I've only
And
ever seen you that way with them, so I'm surprised. I mean, I never, I didn't hear this story. I wasn't around.
well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, and to a certain degree, I mean, Logan knows the difference. Logan knows what I
She
was like.
she saw. Right. Right. Right.
She can remember what I was like. She could tell you, oh yeah, daddy was like always ready to go, and now he's out of breath and he's in pain, and he's he's smoking some marijuana before we go to the park, so that like
Oh,
he's not
Logan, no.
yelling at us or whatever. Oh well, for
That's
me,
cool.
I believe in making peace with all things, and not I don't believe in secrets, and it's
Sure.
daddy's ADD medicine. My brother Cody,
That's cool.
worked with the the pharmaceutical choices for a long time. Didn't have any luck with them. Ultimately,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
still uses cannabis
yeah.
to some degree.
It was a great story here that we had.
And I use it more and more appropriately, as I would like to say,
Right,
for not too much, which sometimes when you can medicate yourself in any fashion, there's always a risk of just like using it inappropriately.
right,
But it's really been a nice soft thing for me that just helps me quiet my mind, so that I can, think more slowly, because it's the thinking fast and the being really sharp thing that overwhelms me as
mhm,
like somebody who really is over scrutinizing things. So to a
right,
certain degree, it's like, man, like knock my head in as much as you want. I'll still think through it, and it'll just slow me down enough to relax, because
right,
when I'm like free to my own devices, I'm just sort of a little bit like a skittish animal.
right,
When I'm out of sorts. But
right,
I've been really relaxed and much better, and the playing baseball and just being more active, like athletically, like that's
right,
been
right, right.
it's been huge for
Gotta
me. I'm
be, yeah, it's
feeling
gotta be.
great.
Oh, I see.
So
I see a new name. What's up, Ray's Hal?
what up, Rays? So that was just a super cool realization for me.
Sweet.
I was like, I love my kids, and ultimately, this was me as like a lion going, I need to be able to play with my children, and
Right,
I don't know what it is I'm doing wrong, but I'm not getting the results that I need financially or whatever from just working like this. So like I'm going to try to be
gotta
more
make
intelligent
choices. Yeah, your priorities. Yeah,
about what I'm doing.
yeah.
And and certainly I've gotten myself now to a better balance, and there's a lot of cool things going on for me right now.
Cool. Yeah,
But yeah, so that was really great, because it just like I like felt like my heart opened, because I wasn't sure if that was the case, but that is the case, and it really it all came from that. I mean, and a certain desire to like, I got to change something so I have energy to well, but once again, it's so I have energy to play with my kids. I need to eliminate something, and I'm going
sure.
to eliminate all of this waste of time that I see here.
Right.
So it was just it was the thing, but it's a new day, and I'm excited about that. So I'm really excited to have our guest on in a little bit, Miss
Oh
Curley.
yeah, awesome.
Um,
Yeah, she's amazing.
what what's the word of the day for
Oh, you
today's
know
live
what?
stream of consciousness?
I forgot another thing that happened that's great in my week, and it's
Oh yeah,
totally related to you, literally. So
me.
yeah,
Oh,
your dad is having a concert locally. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but he's having a concert here, and I wanted to get in and take some pictures. Maybe behind the scenes, or just me. I love to take pictures, and it turns out that our buddy Steve Sage may have that job of doing the video. So, and of course,
he
I'm
told
on the
me
team.
today that it looked
Yeah,
like you did.
yeah.
So
So I'm
that's
super excited about that because
very
I
cool.
love your dad, and I love watching him perform. So, and I love doing photography. It's what I love. So it's like
Oh, and
a triple bonus.
I forgot to share as well. My brother Cody reached out to me a couple days ago and asked me if I wanted to do ayahuasca this weekend with
Oh
the
yeah.
shaman that they've been working with. So they're doing like a 2-night thing. I'm only going for Saturday night, but I'm really
Okay.
excited
Cool.
to go and sit with this shaman and
Nice.
connect with Mother Ayahuasca and the plant medicine. So next week I'll have something to say about that.
Oh, interesting. I would love to hear it.
Yes, I will have stories to
It's
tell.
it's
Tune
always
in next week. It's going to be a very interesting show.
yes, it's always interesting. But I think
Indeed, Patty Parker. Indeed. That's the thing. I don't like pharmaceutical medicine. I don't really trust pharmaceutical medicine. I do trust a plant that grows out of the ground.
right,
The ayahuasca, it's a vine that grows on a tree. Psilocybin, they're mushrooms, they grow out of the ground. That's always been my thing. Like, if it's a plant, I feel comfortable with working with a plant, and it's been very beneficial for me when it comes to the more pharmaceutical type medicine, I'm much more
Hesitant.
hesitant. But
Yeah.
that's not to say that some people don't get a lot of really great benefit
Right.
or get
Exactly.
what they need for the time that they need it, or and also in some cases, like I think ketamine is like a pharmaceutical type
I
thing
think they're doing
creation.
experiments with it.
And there's some
Yeah.
really good things being done with ketamine. It's been
Yeah.
recommended to me to do ketamine treatment. I might one day try.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, I think the ayahuasca's probably jumping ship on whatever the ketamine might do in short order and fast
Right.
order.
Well,
But
yeah.
I'm really excited to work with this shaman. Cody was just like sort of
Yeah, your
singing.
brother's
He's
story
crazy.
was great. Yeah, your brother's story when he was on a couple weeks ago was great, and about how he went through all those medications and it just destroyed him, and then how the natural stuff was working better. But
Yeah, Cody needed. Cody was smoking marijuana. So he's taking ADD medicine, and it's taking away his appetite, and he can't sleep.
mhm.
So he's smoking marijuana so he can eat and so he can sleep. And then eventually got off the medicine and realized the marijuana did what the ADD medicine did for him, and he could sleep and he could eat. So I mean, that's the thing.
Without the ADD,
Yeah. So I mean, granted,
and think he could think.
you want to overcome the aspects of your ADD, as I'm, working on doing it, and not, have these things be a crutch. But at the same time, there's people all over the world who are using pharmaceuticals, and people don't think of it that way.
Yeah, I think it's just a perception thing. There's a lot of
Exactly.
stigma, and I think the good thing is that there's a lot of work being done, and it's kind of at least being respected now.
Yes. And well, it's a lovely tool. There's a great story that I was once told about a woman who had a really incredible experience on dealing with marijuana. And the marijuana plant said that, I can give you anything. I can give you what the ayahuasca and the psilocybin give you. I can connect you to spiritual heights. You just have to ask me for that.
Right.
And so many people smoke, and their intention with the plant is just to escape or whatever else. And if that's what you're doing with marijuana, you're going to get that. The marijuana will cooperate with you. The spirit is a cooperative spirit,
Well, you
unlike
know what? That's
ayahuasca, who kind of
right.
forces you to see what she wants you to see.
Well, I'm not really,
So
familiar with
be
that,
prepared.
but you know what? That really ties in with everything that we've been talking about as far as intention and your thoughts, and I mean, that's a part of it. You do it. You work in conjunction with all of that stuff, and I think that's what the plant medicine does. It's kind of like helps you get to that point.
Yeah,
And
certainly.
some
Like
people could
I
use it, and some people don't need it.
Yeah, well, and there's absolute truth to that. Though to a certain degree, I wish I could like explain this, to people in general in a way that it doesn't seem attacking at all to anybody's sensibilities, but there is definitely something to using them. And while you can get the same from meditation, are you a disciplined meditator, and are you going to go do that? If you are, then
Right.
great, go do that.
And that's what we do.
Because there are some higher states that you're going to get to and notice and go, wow, look at this, look what's possible. Because that's what it's about. It's about changing the size of your cup. Like right now, your cup's like this. A psychedelic experience will make your cup bigger. Because all of a sudden you'll see, oh, there's a sensitivity that I have, and there's an intelligence and an innateness to my thinking and my movement and everything here that I can have, and I feel it here in a fashion while I am in this altered state. So,
Mhm.
You can get there through meditation, and you can get there through going on a mountain, and people get there all sorts of ways.
Right.
But uh, if it's if increasing that sort of interest and that sensitivity and trying to understand these things better is something of interest to you, they really are reasonable paths to success in opening yourself up to what is possible. And I did
Yeah.
all my reading on the internet. I went off and I researched things before I did it, and I had a lot of water and the different things that I needed for
Right.
my
Right.
first psilocybin trip or whatever. And I had a wonderful time, getting to know myself on one of these, on one of these psychedelics. And there's, a lot of different things that are worth investigating. But I
Right.
urge everybody to investigate
Well, I
and
think that's
really
it.
try to
It's really
understand.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, it's almost like, and again, I'm not a big fan of the spiritual journey term, but
Mhm.
really that whole journey is a journey towards self. You know what I mean? A journey towards finding your own self, and however the different, you know, ways that you can touch onto that, they're all valid. But I guess what I'm trying to say is the journey is always, you know what I mean? It's not like you find yourself one day and you're just like, I did it. I've found myself. I'm done. It's like you're still, as long as you're alive and you're a human being, you are constantly seeking that, and hopefully going inside to seek that. And I actually am excited because I see our guest in the
Can
back,
I take
patiently
one
waiting.
quick last second,
Of
and then
course.
we will bring her in? Because this was like the other little piece of, like there was a lot of things in connection with some of that, like meditation and realization, and that was the main thing that I took back, though, that like, I did this for the love of my kids, and I'm gonna get through it, and we're gonna be able to play all the time, and like, that's what I want, and that's what I always wanted, and that was why I was so sort of passionate to make the change in the first place. And recently, I've talked about it a little bit. I've like sort of felt like I've
Heard
gotten to this
that.
place. That's a great quote. The journey is always making sure.
I
Yeah, that's a good one.
love that. Oh,
Hey,
the
Kent,
journey is
what's going on,
always.
buddy?
I love
Um,
that. Did I say
so
that?
so I've been having this feeling that like I didn't know who I was anymore, kind of thing. Like I don't like I'm not sure like where my desires or my push comes from. That like so much of my personality was built on like wanting to do things for my family on some way to like impress them and whatever else. Like, and I realized I sort of dissolved a lot of like I guess my ego associated with what it was that I do and what I want to do.
Hmm.
And and I thought that the answer was I was supposed to rebuild it in some fashion or
Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
then my brother Cody sent me this Joseph Campbell quote, and it like just killed me how much it sort of like resonated with me with this place that I find myself at. And it
Okay.
says, the individual, through prolonged psychological discipline, gives up completely all attachment to his personal limitations, idiosyncrasies, hopes, and fears, and no longer resists the self annihilation that is prerequisite to rebirth in the realization of truth, and so becomes ripe at last for the great at one ment. His personal ambitions being totally dissolved, he no longer tries to live, but willingly relaxes to whatever may come to pass in him. He becomes,
Hmm.
that is to say, an anonymity.
Interesting.
And when I read that, I just really felt like great because there are certain things like like toys. I look around my room and I see toy, and this was part of the meditation. I see toys and things, and they were the spirit was sort of like, look around this room. You see these toys. Did you lift a finger to get them? And it's true. Most of them were gifts from my friend
Oh,
Aaron.
the toys that are being replaced that
The
you
toys
lost.
and the
Yeah,
toys
yeah,
in
yeah,
my thing, like my best buddy Aaron,
yeah,
like he
yeah, yeah.
most of those like he's always wheeling and dealing toys. So like
Right, right, right.
sometimes there's like some that he's got like 20 of them, like they're never gonna sell them all or whatever, and he's like for Jesse, like, and he'll pop them aside or whatever. And so I have like a huge collection kind of for somebody who hasn't really, like, I've bought maybe 3 or 4 toys, and I have all these toys, and they were like, look,
So
like
it's all coming
the
back. It's all you've let
well,
go.
they said, "Look, the universe will provide you with what you need, with what is
Right,
right for you,
right.
when your intention is known by the universe, and like you can let go of all that. We'll rebuild the new thing that makes sense and is feels good." So it was really like it was a very multifaceted bit, but part of it was that, and
Right.
connecting to that
Great.
idea that there's nothing wrong with me actually. And actually this is interesting
I keep
too.
telling you that.
Well, yeah, this is really interesting too. So this morning I did this audition at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I get up usually at like 7. But generally speaking, I would always tell you that I feel very groggy in the morning, and then I'm like a little out of it.
Right.
So at 8 o'clock in the morning, I had not a thought in my head, and I'm doing this thing, and I did a great job. So great that by the end of it, I started going, is it that I'm actually just sort of at peace in the morning? And I'm just like, not used to myself like that. And it's not until later when my thoughts start like bouncing around my skull that I'm
That
like,
you're
oh, this
fighting
is
yourself.
normal.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I should like start using my brain during
There
this
you
period of
go.
time. Maybe it's not dopey. Maybe it's just open.
You know what? That's great. It's a great story, and I'm going to actually use that as a segue.
Yes, please
to
do.
our guest because recently she's been doing a lot of talking about, really finding your inner truth, finding who you are and making friends with it and letting that out. And I was actually inspired recently by a live broadcast she had, and went out and did this other show that I was talking about, just based on the energy. So she was one of our guests for the original episode. Then when we actually had our flagship episode here, she is back to talk to us and get involved in some conversation. Here, I'm going to bring her on right now. Welcome to Sarah Bloomfield. Oh, hold on. You're muted. Hold on. You should. Can't unmute the guest. Their mic isn't connected. Hello, Sarah.
It's okay, Sarah. You look marvelous.
Jesse, wait, you can't hear me?
Oh, now
we can. Hey, Sarah, how's it going?
Perfect.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are you guys?
I'm great. How are you, sweetie?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah,
thanks for
super
joining
excited
us.
to have you. Yeah.
Yay.
Yay! All right, thank you for coming. And
I'm sorry, I'm switching my levels on my microphone, Michael. If you could lead the conversation.
Yeah, cool. So we got some people saying hello to Sarah.
Hi, Ninja Kitty.
We had a whole bunch of people join us in the past few.
Yeah,
thanks. Hey, Kenzie, what up? Tim, what up? Patty, what up? Yes, thank you, sweetie.
So
glued.
I wanted to invite Sarah on the show because I feel like I'm watching her do her thing. She does her live broadcasts on empowerment. I'm actually going to bring up I think I prepared myself a little bit. She's got her website here.
Oh, thanks.
And you've got some stuff coming up. I'm going to let you talk about it. But really, why I wanted to bring you on was just what you're talking about lately is like right here in my brain too, and that is like really being honest with your true self so that your true self can be you, so you could be yourself. And it's so related to everything that we talk about. It's funny, the conversations we have, they always come back to certain things, and that's one of them. So why don't you tell us what you're up to lately with the Empowered Light Leader, and
sure.
And then we could get into some conversation, and it'll probably lead to some conversation. So
yeah, definitely.
I totally have a question for later. I'm gonna write it down.
Write it down, Jesse.
Yeah, so I do empowerment coaching, and I love speaking, and my passion is empowering people to lead from their heart and find the truth of who they are without having a sort of, expectation. So it can be tricky because there's this dance that we do with the universe, we talk about manifestation, and there's this place of, I want to tell the universe what I want and lead from my heart with desire. And then there's the second part of the dance where we lean back and surrender to that. So I think that I love to have that conversation and love to talk about that, because I think a lot of people are imbalanced in in their dance with the universe. So I think that we have this desire to control, right? But that doesn't mean that we don't have a choice of what we create. So how do we do that? How do we go forward in the universe and create what we want with intention, but at the same time let go of the expectation of it? It can be tricky. And so
it can be. It doesn't seem like it should be, right?
But it can be. But and everything I talk about whenever I do a live or I share or I teach, it all comes from my own life experience, and I'm
Mhm.
always inspired from my point of view, what I'm going through, how I have an epiphany, how I become illuminated, how I can then, reach out and bring other people with me on my journey, because I truly believe that everything that we go through, it's to liberate others, to help them, transform our pain into
Right.
our purpose, so to speak. So,
Right.
yeah, I just went live. You saw me on the weekends, and I don't know. I usually do a live broadcast during the week when I know people are going to be on, and I announce and whatever. But
Yeah, I
I was.
love her lives. You should really. Is something wrong with my microphone?
Yeah,
I
something's
can hear
echoing.
you.
How about
Hello,
now?
hello. Is that better? Is it just maybe it's just because I moved the microphone for a second?
Seems all right now.
I love her lives. If you're on Facebook, you should totally follow her. It's just is it just on Sarah Curley? Like if
Yeah,
they
it's Sarah Bloomfield
yeah,
Curley.
like
Like
she
my
does
regular
some
feed.
really cool live videos, and they're all kind of different, but subjects. I have a question. I just kind of jump in because I know you work with a lot of people, and I feel like I've been in like an interesting conundrum, and I wonder what you tell people when they ask you this. And I always almost in my mind like admonish those who didn't know who they were, when they were in high school, and they were like, what am I supposed to do? And they didn't know, and they were like still undeclared. And I was like, I've known what I wanted to do since I was 2, like
Oh,
I'm going to
really?
be a rock star, and then I'm going to be the president, or, but that was essentially what, I wanted to like prove my worth as a musician. And I was, going to be an artist originally, like, and eventually go into politics, and I switched to writing. But, that for me was easy and so clear.
Mhm.
However, when I go to a restaurant and I'm with a group of people, my family, some people I love, I don't know where I want to sit. I literally, I'm like I've been trying to figure it out, and I'm like, I don't know, like where do I want to sit? Like I know what type of place I'd like us all to sit. I'd like us all to sit in a booth if possible. I like booths, but the me personal kind of stuff, I always have like almost
You
trained
mean as
myself
far as like who
to
you're next
defer
to and like
anything, like I just like sort of defer so many choices to the people that I'm with. And I think it came from
Mhm.
the fact that my father was a celebrity, so he was very affected by his environment, and I could sense it. So I was like, it just upped my sensitivity to whatever was going on in the environment, and I just wanted the environment to complement
Interesting.
him as much as possible, like, oh, so he was facing away from the room, and the seat that would be right for them. And then there's 3 kids, and where's the right to help my mom to like clench in the kids so that there's no problems there, and like, and I'm thinking about all these like little things, but not, well, where do I sit? I would just sit wherever was possible to sit, and I really haven't been able to fix things just like that, across the board, really simple me things. As much as I know what I want to do, I don't really know what I want as a person day to
Mm.
day so often. And I find myself confounded, like, what does this mean? How do I connect with what I want?
That's very interesting. So I would go ahead and say um, that on some level, you're probably somewhat of an empath, which means, Jesse, do you know what an empath is?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Would you consider yourself an empath?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what's going on here. Okay, so people who are highly empathic, and for those of you who are watching and don't know what an empath is somebody who feels other people's feelings, and when it's not understood consciously and you haven't fully processed it, it can be overwhelming for people, because what happens is, especially when you're a child, you acclimate your own energy, you become a chameleon, and you get so used to acclimating your own energy to please others around you, because it's easier, right? We sacrifice what we want and what we feel,
Easier. That's
around us
what I keep coming to.
so others around us will feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So usually
Because
highly
then I'm
empathic.
comfortable.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So there you go. So as an adult, you've kind of played this role your whole life, and you're so used to it that you're like, well, where do I want to sit?
I really like, I don't know.
So yeah, so that's
Yeah, people
why.
can
So
relate to
because
that,
you've
yeah.
been the empath and you've been the chameleon and you've been, so I would suggest for you, it's about taking your power back, right? So like, calling in your energy, calling it back to your center. Because when we're trying to please people, right, our energy's scattered in a million places. So I would imagine that it feels kind of like you mentioned ADD, right? So
Yeah.
maybe that's part of the ADD, like your energy is all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So it's about calling back your energy to be centered and grounded to, okay, now I'm feeling more whole. And now I can ask myself, where do I want to sit? Because I'm more from a place of wholeness. What do I want? Right?
So I have to take back my measurement of all the information I have the moment I get to a table where I'm like, well, the possibilities are this and this person is there, and we could do it like this, that, and the other thing. If I don't think about that, perhaps I can get to what
Well,
I would like a little
what I think
easier.
it is, I think it's just the whole restaurant table thing, right? It's just a symptom of like the larger thing, right? So if it's like a daily practice of like calling my energy back and saying like, what does Jesse want? What do I want? And like becoming solid in that energy, it'll just be a ripple, right? And everything will the restaurant thing will change. Everything in your life will kind of ripple and change around that when you start kind of like putting yourself in the center of your life and
Yeah, I think that's a nice simple idea. Because at the very least, that's an exercise in being conscious of the thing and trying to come at it a different way. So like I'm going to utilize that in my life. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it.
good.
Because it really is. It's something that's been very kind of haunting for me over the
You
past few
fixed him.
years. I've been like, who am I? That's like the Zoolander moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Who
yeah,
am
I
I?
love
Who am I?
that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I think I would say that most people they probably are asking the same question, right? We all ask that question. I still ask that question at times, it's because we're constantly evolving, aren't we?
Right.
And we're constantly, but who you are really is love. That's the truth of who you
Yeah.
are.
It's so
And
it's funny because I said whatever it was that I said before. Kenzie said, "Oh, you should put that on a shirt." Like, and I'm sure you do this too. You say things, and you
oh
you
yes.
don't even know
And
where
you
they
said I
come
said
from. You're
that?
just like you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I said that. Wow, that's really deep. That makes
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
laughed when
sense."
you
You
said
know?
that.
Is
Yeah.
that what I said? Good. Yes, I like that. Put it on a
Yeah.
shirt.
Put that
Quote
on a
me.
shirt. That's
Trademark
cool.
that
Yeah.
shit. My
Because
Yeah.
money.
But that
you're
happens.
channeling.
But
Yeah, you're
but
channeling.
like you said, it's funny, and this is my moment of
Can I
my
say something really,
answer.
really
Yeah, go
interesting
ahead.
real
Go
quick
ahead.
about channeling? My mom, working on a book, she has been guided to do this from her work with Mother Ayahuasca. My mom, I've talked about it briefly, but to remind, she did it because it had such a positive effect on Shane and Cody, my brothers, and their relationship. And she had been dealing with some health things that she wanted to see if she could get some help with, and it worked. And she's become a very big advocate for this thing. And Mother Ayahuasca has been telling her she wants to write this book, but she's not a writer. She's never written anything. However, I just recently read her chapters, and she's been doing like some variations of meditating and writing, like trying to do channeled writing. And holy crap, I am so impressed as a writer to the intuitive details that she's
Wow.
bringing about her past. It is so well done. And I just keep going, wow, man, the source is coming through her because, like, I have never seen such wonderful richness to how I feel about everything. And it's based on the details that are being remembered. My brother, like, sculpted this thing into like a format, but it's the information, the details of the information are what moves you. And you channel, we're all channeling so often in so many ways. We don't realize it. Baseball players and so many people. And when you can become more conscious of it, you can really open yourself up to
Yeah,
more.
that you know what, and that's it, Jesse. The whole idea of being conscious of it is really a microcosm of everything that we talk about, and being conscious and being aware of your thoughts, your energy that you give out to people, the energy that you take in, all of these things. So what I was saying is, everybody, it's like this big dilemma. Everyone's like, what the hell is the answer to life? What am I looking for? And the answer is you're the path to life is you are the path to
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and so I feel like, and the reason that we sit here and we have these conversations is once you realize that, so many other things kind of open up and you see things, you're just like, oh, and everything makes sense. And it's really a great place to be. And like you said, Sarah, I think when you get to that place, all you want to do is help people, because you see other people, not everybody, but you see a lot of people struggling with these things that are just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just me. I'm in control here. I have everything that I need. I mean, and it's so you hear that, and it doesn't make sense until one day it does make sense, and then suddenly
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I do have everything I need.
Yeah, I love how you said that you're the path, because for years of channeling and the energy coming through, I think the number one question people would ask is, well, what is my path, right?
Mhm.
And always the answer would be like, not only, are you your path, but you're on your path. You're always on your path. Every action is part of your path.
Right.
Even the times where you think that you're doing nothing, you're still on the path. It's still part of the path.
Mhm,
All of
mhm,
it is still part of the path. And the most beautiful thing about it is that there's no judgment. There's
mhm,
no judgment. Judgment's an illusion. There's no right or wrong.
The
Every
only judge is you.
Exactly.
mhm.
So yeah, so I think that a lot of people also, I notice too, their power is outside of themselves. Like,
Mhm,
they're very focused on circumstance and less on desire. So, do I want to do something? I can't do it because of this. But what about what you want to do? Take your power back. Your power's not outside of
mhm,
you.
mhm,
There's a lot of people too who in the spiritual community, they talk about, my guides told me this, or Jesus told me this, or this angel told me this, and I should do this because of this. And I'm like,
mhm.
what about you? Like, what do you want? Where are you in the scenario, in the equation? You're a powerful divine being. Like, what do you want?
Right.
So
Well, we've talked about a lot too. How we do that with the language.
Mhm.
How you feeling, Joe? I got a case of the Mondays.
uh,
How you feeling, Joe? Well, typical Tuesday, getting through the week. How you feeling, Joe? Oh, well, it's Friday,
Hanging in
last
there,
day.
hanging
I'm
in
getting
there.
there. Here we go. And now, oh, it's Saturday. Oh, it's Sunday. Oh, it's Halloween. Oh, it's my birthday. Oh, it's an anniversary. Oh, it's my honeymoon. Oh, I'm getting married. This is all our power being encapsulated in a word. And there's so many people, it's like I saw a quote the other day about how people want to have weddings, not so much get married. And of course, because we put all the power in the wedding, of course you want to get the wedding that's the thing. If you feel like you're down that path, well, might as well get the damn wedding here. That's the fun part, right? So I mean, it's so funny, and it really is true how we lose ourselves to all of these things, but also how we can program ourselves the way we think. Every day can be our unbirthday. And when a really simple thing, and maybe this will lead into some more things that we could chat about, that I found. So much of my day was built around what I had to do. I had to take a shower. I had to brush my teeth. I had to eat some food. And then I was like, what does this had to? I was like, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if I brushed my teeth? I'd feel so fresh. Wouldn't it be nice if I could take a nice hot shower? That would be so lovely. Wouldn't it be nice if I could eat something that I would really like, that would nourish me?
mm,
Wouldn't it be lovely to do this thing or that thing? And by accident, sometimes we program ourselves in that way where everything's like, and then if we didn't do it, we've removed our power because we've deflated ourselves. Oh, I had to do that thing and I didn't do
yeah,
it.
right.
Versus if you don't get to the thing that you would really like to do, it's like, all right, well, I'd still like to do that. Maybe I can do that tomorrow, versus like beating yourself up because you didn't do all those things you had to do, which is what I used
Yeah,
to do to myself
Right.
constantly. So,
Right.
I mean, it's really easy to change your inner vocabulary, and important to change your inner vocabulary to something that's more nourishing to your soul.
yeah.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
experiencing joy and leading with your joy. And I think sometimes you're right. People make that the last on the list, and I'm guilty of that myself. But
Yeah, you just totally made me feel guilty, Jesse, because I have been definitely, and I think I've been aware of it too, and you made me realize it, but the last couple of weeks, like not being a morning person, just like laying in bed and just being like, oh, waiting till the very last minute, possible to get out of bed. And it's like, when I wake up and I'm like, oh, it's going to be a great day. And I have that intention and I put that thought in my head and I direct myself and my energy that way. I get out of the bed, I make the bed, and it feels so much better. And I have definitely been guilty of that. It's like, as much as we talk about life being so great and I'm such a happy person, yeah, I have mornings where I'm laying in bed and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed.
And it's
okay.
The difference between like dragging an anchor and being propelled forward, like, having a hop in your step. Ooh, the shower, really, it's like, it is lovely when you're like, ooh, wouldn't it be nice? It's just such a better trajectory than, oh man, I got to shower, like just the energy, like as soon as you go there, you're like, you feel that energy, like, oh, I gotta take a shower. I haven't eaten, like, but it'd be so nice to have something yummy,
right,
exactly. It's such a different vibe.
Very different. I think also you're kind of saying without saying maybe is happiness is a choice, right? We have to choose. We have to choose the higher thought. We have to choose to be happy.
And you
Happiness.
don't realize that you sometimes have not chosen right in like a long time ago, maybe.
Right.
What? I'm laughing because you're making me realize, like, I was going to say, it's so funny when, and I do this on social media and you probably do too. You put out there something like happiness is a choice, and then someone argues with you.
And then well, that's the nature of social media.
Yeah, but you're like, well, I could argue with you, but then I'm giving into your choice. Of
that's happened to me so many times.
It's like and that's, I love that, man. Social media is a test for me. It's a test for me. Sometimes I'm just like, but I love, what? Honestly, I love the challenge that's put forth to me to be my higher self and to greet that, whatever resistance it is when I say something like that. It's the resistance to greet that with, hey, you want to be resistant? Okay, cool. I have no problem with that, but you might be happier if you just listen, We'll give it a shot.
Or, that's their choice, whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's that thing from that Joseph Campbell line, something about putting yourself through self-torture, essentially being torn apart by what is, and being in resistance to reality. It's when we flow like water. What is water? Is water in resistance to the reality around it, or does water flow with the force of the river? Exactly. And that's where we need to be coming from, because at the end of the day, things, the energy comes before the physical manifestation of the thing. So the energetic representation is the most important. And when our energy goes and tries to sort of be like stone and go, no, I don't want to accept a thing, it really just distorts our field, because it essentially, it's like putting your energy field in a car accident. You're like, I'm coming up against this reality and I'm going to be changed by it energetically. And that's what happens. We get all these bits of bad energy rammed inside of us over time, every time we seize up on that level. And it's really not so much that we're seizing up physically, although sometimes that'll go with it. It's more our energetic response, and to be able to sort of accept the thing as it comes in, and let it come into your field, and not judge it. That's been something recent, for me. I've really been trying to get on as I've gotten better at watching myself. I was like, now I'd really like to give it a few seconds before I react to things, because I see sometimes I react and I don't really have the full picture and I sound like an idiot. And I'm like, if I could just give it a second, because obviously I'm reacting from a place of judgment or ego or something else. And if I just give it a moment, I'm sure I'll have a better place to come from.
Right. And I think you touched on some great things. And one of them is triggers, right? When we're triggered, it usually is because someone's pressing a button and all they're doing is they're saying, hey, there's darkness in you that needs to be healed. Hey, hey, pay attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that moment, we have a choice. We can stop. Like I took a Kabbalah class and there was a practice that he taught us. And when you're feeling like a reaction, there's like a 4-step process. And I think the first is like stop and say, wow, what a blessing. So it's like, right, someone's coming at me, they're yelling, and I'm supposed to say, wow, what a blessing. But yeah, because
And
like
what's
you
that
said, it
doing?
changes the energy. It changes
That's
the
changing
energy.
it. Yes, exactly.
Right. So
Wouldn't it be
wow, what a
nice that I
blessing.
had this bad thing that made me realize?
Wow, wow, what a blessing. And then, okay, so like if everything's a mirror, well, why is this showing up in my movie, right? It's a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like why is this showing up? And so what do I need to learn? And then how can I let it go to the light? But I think you have to just have some awareness to get to that place, right? And once you do have that awareness, it's like you have all the power in the world then because you can just neutralize any situation. You're like Neo in the Matrix where you're just like, oh, bullet, bing, because you're not influenced anymore.
Yeah. And may I just address a comment that we have there? Taylor McKinnon has written a thing, and this is important because I don't want people to misunderstand when we say happiness is a choice. Because sometimes that can, because that could like piss me off on the wrong day. Because I will tell you that subconsciously, my body energetically, it's in all these. It's got habits going on, and it keeps making itself sort of like not so happy. However, what we're talking about is changing the dialogue that you're having with yourself and recognizing how important that inner dialogue is and what a huge difference it is between saying, yo, you got to go walk the dog, asshole, and saying, hey, wouldn't it be great to take the dog outside and get some fresh air and he'd be so happy. That's a wonderful bit of medicine, energetic medicine for yourself. And if you can make that change, there's a huge shift to the energy that you'll be experiencing when you're doing these things. And it is a choice to become conscious of that process and to become a part of it and start trying to figure out, well, what's a better way for me to be thinking about this? Like if you study Abraham Hicks, she's actually a really good person to look at because she does these things where she'll talk about taking something that's really frustrating you and then thinking about it slightly better and slightly better and slightly better and slightly better and slightly better. And before you know it, you're really thinking about it pretty positively. And there's a path to get there of like, oh, this makes me so mad. Oh, I'm glad that this happened because I feel motivated. Oh, this I'm going to go out there and show everybody how it's going to be done the right way. And that makes me feel good. I got a lot of love to share and there's not a lot of people doing that. And I want to love the people. 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 Like you can turn the thing around from the, oh my God, I'm urged on by negative energy and turn it into something that's very positive in all cases. Recommend studying the Abraham Hicks. Go listen to her and you'll hear her do her thing.
Esther Hicks, who
Yeah,
channeled
she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also too, my whole point with saying happiness is a choice is what I'm trying to say is that I think as a collective, we tend to view happiness outside of ourselves. Like if I get that money, I'll be happy. If I get that guy in my life, I'll be happy. If I get this book published, I'll be happy. If I do finally get a house, I'll be happy. And so as we start saying these things, we're always pushing our happiness outside of ourselves until this, until this, until this. But what if we could just choose to be happy now? Like find one thing like right now that I can be happy about.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there one thing? Don't we all have one thing? we
You
all
have a
have
great
one.
set. I love your live set that you created.
Oh, thanks. I'm happy about that.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
Right. So it's about choosing to focus, right, on that which is whole already, instead of trying to be whole. Where am I already whole? And so that energy creates more wholeness.
Right. Gratitude.
Right. Gratitude's a perfect energy. Forgiveness.
Yeah.
These are all very love. These are all very high frequency.
Angela says, I am here. I am happy. Thank you, Angela.
Yeah.
Yay.
I am here. I am happy.
Yeah. That's great. That should be on a shirt, right? We should just start making shirts. T-shirts of consciousness.
I'd wear them. T-shirts is my preferred clothing.
So for people who are listening, Sarah is a great teacher. I mean, obviously you can see how nice it is to sit and listen to her speak. She's a great speaker and teacher, and I know you are doing a class soon. I'm just going to pop this up here, and I would love you to tell us, maybe give us a little preview.
Oh, yeah. So I actually don't think I'm going to be teaching.
Oh, you're not. I didn't talk to you about it. You're not. Oh,
It's
you're moving.
okay.
Are you moving the date or?
Yeah. I'm kind of like, I'm always kind of, I guess because I'm such like a creative person, I get different ideas and then I'm like, no, this, then that later, then this. Yeah, that will come.
Okay.
But
Oops,
yeah,
my bad.
so it's okay.
I saw that. I got excited. I was like, because I'm a big fan of what you do and the things that you teach. So you do have something coming up. Why don't you talk about what the next thing is and what it is?
Yeah, sure. I have a lot of things. So, I do the empowerment coaching and teaching, but I'm also a trance channel, and a medium, and I speak light language and all that. So I have these two different parts of me, and I incorporate them. But so every month I'm doing a channeling workshop where I'm going into trance and channeling a message from the collective, and then I'm doing goddess work. So I'm bringing in a goddess, and we're doing meditation and invocation, and then we're having discussion to bring up what needs to be shifted, and that's going to be every month. I just did one with a Celtic goddess called Nematona. It was great, and the next one is coming in April, and I'm also creating a new group called the Circle of Light, and it's for people who want to work on their spiritual gifts, who feel like they really want to help and heal and work with their gifts, but they have a lot of fear and maybe lack the confidence, have self-doubt. Because a lot of people who bring in energy, they doubt it. They don't believe themselves. And I used to be one of them.
That's so much of our audience.
So that I just started creating that. That's going to be the end of May, and then eventually, yeah, I'll do the masterclass, the Conscious Creator Masterclass, where that's how do I be conscious creator? That's manifestation and all of that, which is I'm passionate about too. Yeah, so that's my stuff.
I brought up the wrong thing. I'm sorry, but
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Again, I would say here, this is the right thing. I'm going to put this up for anybody.
I gave him some crap a few weeks ago about not being prepared for a guest, and now he's like over-prepared to the extreme.
Yeah, so yeah, you can. I have I have a website. I have a.
How
Facebook
often
page.
do you go on and do your Facebook lives? Is there any consistency to what you do? I just happen to catch you here there.
Yeah, I usually do it once a week. I try to go on Thursdays or Fridays. This weekend I did it on a Saturday because I was just feeling the energy. But I actually have a guest. Anna Miranda's gonna, Anna Miranda. Yeah, she's
I
gonna be.
introduced you to Anna Miranda.
Yes, you did.
Oh my God, I love that. That's amazing.
And she's going to be on the Facebook Live with me, and we're going to be talking about the new teacher for the new age and what that means and what is that about. And
Awesome.
she's an astrologer too, so she's going to give a lot of information about
Amazing.
the age of Aquarius and what is the age of Aquarius? What is the new age? People talk about it all the time, but what is it really? So that's going to be really exciting. That's going to be tomorrow. And that'll be on my Facebook page. Yeah.
Awesome.
Tomorrow,
Please do join Sarah. I'm sure you guys will learn a lot, as you did here. We're getting towards the end of another episode of the live stream of consciousness. Michael, what do we want to end on here this week on the Rams Network? And thank you for those of you out there in Twitch land who are donating to the good cause. This is the Rams Network is presented for charity, raising money for Rock Against MS. And we appreciate you keeping our show going and other shows going, like Coolest Alive, which is going every week as well. And we'll see you next week for that one. Now Michael's in. What do you got for me?
Now I can answer.
Yeah, now you can answer.
Now I can answer. You know what? It's just again the same message that we're always talking about, the same thing, and why I brought Sarah here. It's like, being true to yourself. All of the stuff that we've been doing has been teaching me so much about myself, and been a reflection of life that's going on. And now I have all of these great things going on. So, I would just say, be aware of everything. Consciousness is being aware. So I want to just end on that. Angela's giving us a group hug. Yeah, this is great. This is like, for me, the dream of this was to connect people instead of divide people with social media, and it's been happening. You know, I love the group of people that come every week and support us. I love watching Sarah do what she does, as well as other friends who are, you know, Christopher Allen is having a lot of great success on social media, just connecting people and sharing their gift that helps other people heal. So I think, you know, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say we all have those gifts. Find your gift that helps people heal, and you will heal.
And
Right?
I must say real quick, you know, I think I told you I was being haunted by the 16, which I now knew was the tower card.
Oh yeah,
you know, and my previously my favorite number, Sarah, and I realized, like, oh my God, 16 is the damn tower card. Like, and like in my Akashic Tarot deck, it's called Caught in the Ruins, and it just fit my situation with my ex-wife so, like, to a T, like just being caught in a situation that's not exactly right. And so as soon as I became aware, all of a sudden the number kind of started haunting me, because it was coming up as synchronicity for me all the time. But now it's coming up as synchronicity for me, and I was like, like I don't want to be on the 16. I don't want to be on the synchronicity of the 16. So it's took a minute, but they've been teasing me with the 17 more and more and more as like a change number. Like I've been getting like teased, and 26 and 27, which are like the positive numbers for me. So like it's been coming off finally from what I talked about earlier, you know, a couple of weeks ago or whatever, of being haunted by the 16. I'm starting to see a change, and occasionally it comes up, and I know I'm just supposed to be like, it's okay, it's just a number.
It's okay. It's just
a number. But sometimes I'm like, 16. But it started to change. It was like, I was like, no, you're doing it to me again. No.
I don't know if we have a format. I think in the past we usually like say goodbye to our guests and then give our words. But Sarah's here for our wrap up, so let's put Sarah on the spot. Let's put her on the spot and ask for some parting words of wisdom.
Parting words for Sarah, absolutely.
Oh, I would say follow your desire. You know, just stop listening to that voice that says, "What if? How can I can't." This, because that's separation. And when you're in those moments, just change your energy. What can you do to feel connection? Change your energy. Get into something that feels good, and instead of trying to figure it out, just change your energy. Get in your desire, and your whole world will shift. Just keep on doing that. Keep on doing that. And things will start to change. And yeah, that's the best advice I can give you.
Fabulous advice. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a guest and a friend of the show. And I hope you guys will follow her over to her own endeavors, because she really has a lot to offer you all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for another fabulous episode of the Live Stream of Consciousness. Thanks, Michael.
We love you. Peace.